All right, ready to dive deep. Today, it's all about pronoun order. Making sure we're saying he and I instead of me and him and stuff like that.
It can get tricky.
It can, but luckily we've got Alex, the English expert, to help us out. He's got a great lesson on this, and we're going to break it all down.
Sounds good.
So it's not just about sounding super proper, right? Getting this stuff right can actually make you sound way more confident and, polished when you speak and write.
Definitely. People notice that kind of thing, even if they don't realize it.
Exactly. Okay, so subject versus object pronouns, like I versus me, he versus him, we all learned that back in school.
Right.
But even native speakers mess this up sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Like, you'll hear people say, me and him went to the store.
Yeah.
And it sounds like almost normal because we hear it so much.
It does.
But grammatically, it's a big no-no.
So how do we avoid that trap? Like, what's the trick to getting it right every time?
Well, Alex has this great tip. He says, just imagine the other person isn't there.
Okay.
So instead of me and him went to the store, take him out.
Right.
Does me went to the store sound right?
Definitely not.
No way. So you need to use I.
Oh, that's such a helpful trick.
It's simple, but it works.
Okay, so that's subject versus object pronouns. Now, what about this first person last rule? Like he and I instead of I and he.
Right.
It sounds a bit formal, doesn't it?
It can, but it's considered more polite in most cases.
So it's not just about grammar, it's about etiquette, too.
Exactly. It shows you're considering the other person, putting them first.
I like that.
And while some style guides, like the one journalists use, say you can be a bit more flexible, especially with object pronouns.
Okay.
Sticking with first person last is generally a good rule of thumb.
Makes sense. Okay, now things get a little more complicated when we're talking about the order within pronoun groups. Like when there are more than two people involved.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
I know. Alex lays out this specific order for singular pronouns.
Okay.
Is second person, then third person, then first person.
Right, so like you, he, and I need to talk.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
But then, plural pronouns flip the script.
They do. It's
like a grammar plot twist.
I know. It goes third person, then second person, and then first.
So and we need to discuss this.
Yep, that's it.
Why the change? Like, is there a reason for that?
Honestly, not really. It's just one of those quirks of the English language.
Huh, okay. But I guess using the right order shows you really know your stuff, especially in writing.
Definitely. It's a subtle detail, but it makes a difference.
Like a secret handshake for grammar nerds.
Haha, exactly.
And of course, sometimes using we or us to refer to everyone is just easier.
For sure, for sure. But having that deeper knowledge in your back pocket can definitely be useful, especially when you want to be really precise with your language.
I get it. Okay, last thing. What about when we throw proper nouns, like names, into the mix?
Great question. Names usually go at the end of pronoun groups.
Okay.
But there's a catch. The first person last rule still applies.
So it's like a grammar showdown. Name versus I.
Pretty much. So it would be she and Tom went to dinner.
Right, but Tom and I went to the movies.
Exactly. And it's the same with object pronouns. Like, we called him and Jan.
Okay. I think I'm getting it.
You're doing great.
It's a grammar puzzle. And we're figuring it out piece by piece.
We are.
But before we move on, I have a question. Like, we've been talking about these rules like they're set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
But language changes, right? So could these pronoun orders, like, evolve over time?
Oh, that's a really good question. And it gets to the heart of how language works. Like, it's constantly changing. It really does. So who knows? Maybe me and him went to the store will be grammatically correct someday.
Right. Wild. But okay, so for now, we do have these rules.
Yeah.
Do we have to, like, follow them all the time? Or is there, some wiggle room?
Well, it depends on the situation. Like, think about it like clothes, right? You wouldn't wear a ball gown to the grocery store.
True.
So in casual conversations, you can be a bit more relaxed with pronoun order.
Right. But when it comes to, like, formal writing, emails to your boss, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Those are the situations where those rules become really important. It shows you understand the conventions,
It's like, yeah, you're signaling to the reader that you're taking it seriously.
Exactly. You're showing you care about clarity, professionalism.
Like you're saying, hey, I know how to play this game.
Haha, yeah. And just like with fashion, once you know the rules, you can bend them a little creatively.
Oh, right, like song lyrics.
Yeah. Remember we talked about Pink Floyd earlier?
Us and them.
Us and them, exactly. That wouldn't have the same impact if they used standard pronoun order.
Right. Sometimes in art, you got to break the rules. But it's important to know them first?
Absolutely. It's all about making conscious choices with your language.
So I guess mastering pronoun order isn't just about memorizing these rules, right? It's about understanding, like, the why behind them.
Exactly. The nuances, the social implications.
And when it's okay to maybe bend them a little.
Right. It's about wielding the power of language to communicate effectively, authentically.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm already seeing a difference in how I approach, like, speaking and writing.
That's great to hear, and it's something you can continue to work on.
Yeah.
The more you pay attention to those details, the more natural they'll become.
Oh, and speaking of practice, Alex actually has a quiz on his website, ingvid.com.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
It's a fun way to, like, test your knowledge and see how much you've learned.
The best way to learn is by doing.
Well, my brain definitely got a workout today.
Mine too. But it's a good kind of workout, right?
It is. It is. It's like, it's not just about sounding smart or whatever.
Right.
It's about using language as a tool for, clarity, respect, and really connecting with people. It's about realizing how powerful even the tiniest words can be.
It really is. Think about it. Getting those pronouns right can prevent all kinds of misunderstandings.
For sure, for sure.
And it helps us build better connections with people.
Absolutely.
And even, express those subtle little things that make our communications so much more impactful.
It's like we've unlocked a secret language code, a better way to talk to each other.
And the best part is the code's always changing.
Yeah, that's what makes it so fascinating. This whole deep dive has been, honestly, a real eye-opener. I feel like I'm walking away with a better understanding of the rules, but also like a whole new appreciation for how beautiful language can be.
That's fantastic. And just remember, language, it's a journey.
It's not like you just arrive and you're done.
Exactly, exactly. There's always something new to learn, something else to explore.
So to everyone listening, keep diving deep, keep asking questions, and keep, experimenting with language.
Until next time, may your pronouns be perfectly in order, and may all your communication be clear and engaging.
Happy learning, everyone. C9.